today we're going to use this news article that happened sort of as a spark for us to discuss some things pertaining to money, old age, and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So the story that happened was like, this happened in Singapore, and it was a story about how this man in his 80s, right, he lived a very frugal, like hand-to-mouth type of existence in a one-room rental flat, which is government subsidized, right? But it turns out that he actually had $1 million in his bank account, which is quite a bit of money, and also other financial products like annuities that will give him payouts in his old age until he died.
Yeah. Maybe I should explain what an annuity is.
Okay.
So annuity is something like you give like an insurance company, you give them like let's say 500k, then you get a payout, like you get a percentage of the 500k every year until like a certain age, and then they give you back the 500k.
Yeah.
Or until you die, whichever.
So basically, he was very financially healthy in that way, but he dressed and lived simply. But also, what turns out happening to him was that he actually had dementia to the point where now, like in lieu of all his financial products and assets, they have to think about what to do with his assets, even though he was still kind of living in this like one-room subsidized flat.
Rental flat.
Not in rental flat. He's not in the right capacity to sort of make decisions about what will happen to his money and his financial products, and also like his family. Also, like it's not quite clear who his family members are. They're like long lost relatives and family members, right?
I feel like we should quote the article when it comes to this point. Let me look for it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I quote this. They wrote this about him. Little is known about him except that his parents died during the Japanese occupation and that he has lost contact with most of his other relatives. So we know very little about this man. He's like Batman or something.
So we just sort of want to not talk particularly specifically about this story because we also don't know all the factors, right? But there's a lot of mystique surrounding it. And I think like it's very ripe in terms of like as a conversation starter, and a lot of the dialogue online that I've seen in the comment section is mostly about how, wow, you earn so much money, save so much, then like get dementia, then don't get to spend it. That is the first level sort of comment that I see the most, You have any thoughts about that?
Funny story because...
Well, it's not a funny story, it's quite sad.
I mean, funny story of my own, right?
Yeah.
I think in the early days of Woke Salaryman, when I Google Woke Salaryman to see what people will say about us, there was a person on Reddit that said, these people are going to grow up with like 1 million eventually in a Yishun 3-room flat.
Us?
Yeah, us.
These people as in us?
These people as in us. Yeah. So
they're saying that we'll become sort of in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
Got a lot of like money savings and stuff.
Yeah.
Financially healthy, but otherwise seemingly quite a sad life. Is that what they're trying to say?
I think the implication is that they don't see Yishun as a fun place. So what the person was trying to say, what we would be, was that we would be very rich in the end, but have miserable lives living in a flat that they feel is not good enough.
Do you think that's accurate, that will happen to us or likely to happen to us?
I don't think so. Actually,
we're so frugal and so like spendthrift that we never actually get to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Spendthrift means spending money.
Then what is it?
Thrifty.
Safe thrift?
No.
Thrifty. Okay,
thrifty.
Sorry, I say wrong.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I know you are very big on enjoying yourself.
And you make it sound like I'm some
pursuing
decadent. No, I buy video games, then I spend on cameras and sometimes bicycles. That's about it, lah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're a very like passionate man. You like to pursue your passions.
Well,
and I feel like it's a big part of your personality.
Yeah, I mean, like to enjoy the fruits of my labor a little bit, lah.
Yeah, I think between both of us,
I think I'm more spendy and you are more thrifty.
Yeah.
But then also among my circle of friends, and my wife also would say I'm a bit too kiam siap, which is like too thrifty also. So also it's relative. But I also think, going back to this uncle also, and also to our situation, right? I think like just looking at your financial situation and also like your health situation, or I'm 80 and I have dementia, it's not a fair snapshot of what a person's life actually was like. Doesn't mean you see that then like, he must have had a miserable life. Because maybe this uncle, up till the point where he actually got quite embroiled in the dementia, right? Maybe what you laugh?
I laugh because no one uses embroiled and dementia.
Okay, whatever. I'm using it now.
All right.
So maybe he had a great life. Maybe he just every day go downstairs, talk to his friends, and then go back up. Never have to worry about rent ever because the annuities will all cover it up. And then also like he's living so frugally in such a understated type of dwelling, right? Like
Yeah.
a one-room rental flat. Like, he had a great life, and we won't know. Maybe his enough point was so low, but he just saved up so much that he never had to worry about it ever again.
Yeah.
Then maybe he had a great life.
I think the possibility is also, I mean, so that's one end of the spectrum,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The possibility is also that, you know, he worked very hard, and he had no friends. He got dementia alone,
Yeah.
and then he will most likely leave this world alone. So that is the other
I think that's fair.
range of outcomes that we're talking about.
Fair. I'm open to considering. I'm just saying, like, doesn't mean you see this means that it's
Exactly.
miserable. Because I'm not the one assuming here. Like, it's like
Exactly.
other people who look at us and assume it will be like that in the future. It's them that's assuming.
Yeah,
Right.
because I do think financial security is like pretty empowering in itself. And I would not like to be 80 years old and have like very
Nothing.
little money in the bank,
Right.
constantly worrying about
Right.
my finances.
Yeah. Then some more your body is deteriorating. The chance of you getting something that might cost you even more money and sort of whisk your lifestyle away from you that you currently have, like the roof over your head, or like you need to settle for a slightly smaller roof, that kind of thing, is getting higher and higher. So maybe that $1 million, maybe a bit overkill to
Yeah.
have so much cash, right? But maybe it makes him feel good.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that feeling even on a smaller scale. Like when I got my first 100K, it makes you feel different. Like I don't need to. When I first got my 100K, I'm like, wow, it just seeing that amount makes you feel and act differently in terms of like the future, and you can see further just from having that. Not even changing the way you spend money or buying new things, you know. So maybe 1 million is the feeling that he needs to feel okay lah.
Yeah, I think having money allows you to think long term. So when
Yeah.
you're your first 100K,
Yeah.
you can think in terms of years. If you have like $100, you can think in terms of weeks. Or days even.
Or days, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got a million, you can think in terms of what? Decades.
Yeah, decades.
Right.
I think decades is pretty fair.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's also this growing movement online, right? That the idea is that you're supposed to spend all your wealth before you die. It's
yes.
called the dying with zero movement.
Dying with zero.
Yeah. So
Okay.
clearly, this man did not believe in the dying.
Or maybe he didn't
With
get
zero.
to lah.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted in his 90s to just jump $1 million in a year and then go out in a blaze of glory, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's a
Right.
possibility. Okay, but he didn't manage to do it.
didn't
But
manage to do
what do
it.
you think of the?
No, not that he didn't manage to do it. He didn't do it. Manage would seem like he wanted to do it but didn't manage to do it, right? We never know. Maybe he didn't want to do it. We can't speak for him, right?
Sure.
Sorry, do disclaim me lah, but I'm just saying lah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think like it's not a bad thing to do, right? It reminds me of a bit like the thing that you were telling me about, like
This dying with zero. Right?
yes, dying with zero. It reminds me of the one you're saying, the ski, is it like, which is
Spend
like,
your kids' inheritance.
yeah, SKI, right?
Yep.
It reminds me a bit of that because like I like the idea of like I make my mark when I'm on Earth, and then before I leave, I take everything with me that I can do. But then when you're thinking in terms of intergenerational wealth, then that one I feel like doesn't work. But this person, it seems like he had no dependence that he was gonna pass down to, no will or anything, you know. So in this case, I sort of also related to the idea of, you know how people sometimes counter by saying, you earn so much money, then you die tomorrow, how? Then you have hustled so much and you never got to enjoy it, right? Because you're never certain when it comes to your time on Earth. And I feel like it doesn't matter because I work hard and I try to build a security for my own sake. And as long as I can account to myself, I'm okay if my experience ends prematurely because I plan for a time where a chance that it might not have ended prematurely. So even if you tell me, you see you die already, you didn't get to spend. And it's like, yeah, but the chances are that I will die, for example, in my 30s, very low. So I will still, if knowing this knowledge, right, I will still choose to live like that. Because that is the ethos or the code or the principle that I want to live my life with, that I don't want to depend on other people. And I want to be secure like that. That's just me.
I also feel like if you pursue wealth like sustainably, actually your life wouldn't be that bad after a certain point.
Yeah.
So of course, if you die during like the first 3 years of your hustle,
Hustling, yeah.
it sucks lah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Then if you die like when you have slightly more money, the chances are you will have a better quality of life versus someone who feel very stuck at work, feel like no progress. Because at least you get to live out your vision of what a good life might be.
Yeah, even if it was cut short halfway,
Yeah.
I still lived a sustainable life.
Let's say you reach your ikigai
Yeah,
and did it for 7 years.
yeah.
I think that is not bad compared to someone who hated their job for 40 years in a row.
Yeah.
Because it's about the quality of life lived during that period.
I do understand that there is some sort of like glamour in YOLO, spend everything, live paycheck to paycheck. But I've seen far too often more examples of people who did that than now my peers, live to suffer because they didn't die at 40. Than people who hustle then die at 40.
Yeah.
Like because the statistic is just that you're not gonna die at 40.
I think when people die at 40, people make a big hoo-ha about it.
So it seems like a lot of times this is happening.
Yeah,
but
because it is rare.
Yeah.
Right. You don't, let's say like I saw grass on the pavement. I don't make a big hoo-ha about it because there's always grass on the pavement. But then if I see like a dragon on pavement, I'm like, oh wow, oh shit,
a dragon
it's so rare.
But it doesn't mean that there are dragons on pavements everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's just because we made a hoo-ha about that one time.
Exactly. It's all about the hoo-has.
Yeah.
So my own take is that spending all the money before you die, I think it sounds like a very admirable thing to do, like a pretty worthy cause.
Why is it a worthy cause?
You get to spend money in the way that you want, and you plan just nice so that you have just enough money that it expires before you die.
But you can't plan like because you don't know when you will die, you see.
Okay, so I think in theory it sounds good. But I think if you don't have a good reason to spend your money, then don't spend, right? It's perfectly fine.
Maybe this dude didn't have a reason to spend money.
Yeah, you can donate it to charity or something.
Right.
Hey, I got another question for you. So this man who had dementia, he was found in a HDB rental flat.
Okay, I see. I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, and these flats are typically meant for
low income.
Yeah, low income people.
Disadvantaged families.
Yeah, exactly. So, how do you feel about him renting what is considered maybe a public good?
It's hard to say because I also don't know what is the rubric when it comes to rental housing because they're typically reserved for, I would assume, like either troubled families or like families that have difficulty, like disability, like it's not even like they don't have a high paying job. They will find it difficult to get a high paying job to keep up a certain standard of living. I would only feel like bad about it if I knew objectively and directly that in him staying in this flat, right, is taking away the opportunity of someone else to stay in this flat. So I also don't have enough information, but maybe he found some loophole and some way to get in it where he said, you see my income very low, but it's not counting like the income from his financial products, the annuities and the payouts that he got, which would actually make him quite a high income. But it's not technically income, maybe the way they count it is different. So I actually don't feel that bad about it because financial products are out there and it's up to whoever the authorities or the policy makers are to, I don't mean policy just in the government, but also like the insurance policy writers and whatever, right, to find a way to do it so that it's fair and achieves what they want. In this case, then, like, it would be nice to hear, like, from the authorities whether something like this is meant to happen.
Yeah.
Whether is it like somebody who's cash rich but knows how to sort of declare or sort of like play that income game can get in. But I feel like if he's doing it in a system that is undersubscribed, I don't know the situation, but if it's undersubscribed, he's not taking the place away from anybody who needs it. It's not like there are people who want to live in there, but he took it up, then they can't get in, Then I think it's okay.
Well, I would think like in this climate, because there's a large housing shortage in Singapore, I would think like that place is probably oversubscribed. So I have mixed feelings about it. And I feel like the government should at least say something like, we frown upon this.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need to do anything to him, but should at least
to say like, look, this is not something that we
like have a stance like, do we endorse this? Do we not endorse this?
Yeah, I agree.
I would, if I were the government, which I'm not, I would just say like, we do not encourage this, and I think that is that will be fair, because I do think there are quite a lot of wealthy people who pretend to be poor, and then they get a lot of benefits, which I feel like not that it's not fair or anything, it's just morally it just doesn't sit well with me.
So if you're somebody who is rich, meaning you're above say the 40%, you're above the 60 percentile in terms of wealth in the nation, you will purposely, even if you can game the system and you will be happy with a rental flat, you will purposely not do it because you know in your social or societal duty heart that I shouldn't take this resource that is meant for other people. You won't do it.
Yeah, I don't think
I think that's
I'll
fair.
do it. Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Because I feel like, and we heard a bit about this during the COVID situation, where the government rolled out some initiatives to help some families. And then the criteria for these benefits, how they do it is by looking at certain factors, including your housing. And then some people were upset because they lived in very more valuable housing, like landed property, which is a premium type of property in Singapore, right?
Yep.
And they say, hey, just because we live in landed property, we are not qualifying for these kind of benefits. Why? But I also feel like in that case, even if you are struggling and all you have is, for example, this landed property that you inherited, right? You have the capacity and you have the resources to adjust. In that situation, you have less avenue to complain about the situation, so not getting that benefit, because you have options. You're just not willing to exercise the option because, I don't know, you want to hang on to the house, got sentimental value, whatever. But it's meant for people without these options even. They can't even sell a house
I think
get by.
We say this with like utmost empathy and compassion, because of course it is hard to move out of a place
Your
that you
family
live in for
house,
40 years, right?
dude, like it's my grandmother, they buy the thing, and they converted, but whatever, I get it. But you at least have the option. Some people don't even have the option.
So I feel like benefits should go to the most impoverished in society. Ideally in ideal situation, not accounting for voters or anything. Right. And if you apply it to my own situation, I would just do HDB. I would not go HDB rental flat, because I know that is meant for a very specific subsection of the population.
I think that's fair. As long as you can take umbrage at the man, sorry for that expression, you can take umbrage at the man if you yourself would be willing to, in that situation, even if all your friends live at rental property next time, then I want to stay near my friends, but I actually like $2 million, $3 million in the bank. But I won't do it because I know it's not right. I think that's fair for you to say that.
Will you do it? Let's say you're a millionaire, then you live in a rental flat.
No, I will leave it to people that need it more. And my perspective was like that when it came to the COVID thing also. Because I think I was very narrowly, I missed the thing. I mean, I wouldn't get it anyway because I'm PR. Maybe PR also get, but I read it and it looked like PR cannot get. Then I also looked at it and I had just missed the income quota thing. And I'm like, well, never mind lah, it's okay lah. I'm not meant to get it, they can go and collect. Even if I qualified, our business was doing well, I would feel bad for taking from that pool. Even if I qualified, I would not want to take it. Because I know we were doing pretty okay during the COVID situation. But then you think about like things like the Treasury or the Commons like that. I also found things like, is this the sign of like, in a calamity I will die one? Because I'm just civic minded like that. I don't even say I'm a good guy lah.
Definitely not a good guy.
Sometimes it's also just laziness and going and checking and claiming, but like I'm not that bothered about missing out on these things, because at the time I also don't need it, so I'm also okay one. I don't need.
I think there's always the feeling of like, am I losing out?
I think quite prevalent here, especially.
And I get it, because I do feel like that sometimes, but I also try to balance it out with like, in my head lah, maybe it's very idealistic, like what would a good citizen do? Because there'll always be loopholes, and then whether or not you want to exploit them is up to you or not. Like let's say we are SME now, right? We can go apply to like all sorts of grants, and just to get the grant money.
But we don't really go and apply for these things.
Maybe
it's laziness. We're just lazy fucks.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah. But also I feel like if we don't need it, I also don't want to base the business around
grants.
Grants. Yeah. So I feel like coming back to this old man, I feel like a lot of the things about his life also not known. So this is just a kicking off point. But like, I also think about like his life, like whether he was actually happy, whether he actually just had enough, and he knew his enough point. And he had a very good life up to the part where he got dementia. And it's okay lah.
I think
all the speculation.
You're talking about like, it would be cool to do like a series where we explore.
I want to do a graphic novel about it.
Imagine like
his life.
What his life like, I mean, the money could have come from so many different ways. He could have earned it,
Inheritance.
It could be inheritance. It could be maybe
save and grind.
Money laundering at some point. Who knows? I mean, it's really hard to say. And no judgment on this man, because we really don't know anything about him. Other than his 80, has $1 million, has dementia. These three facts. So it would be unfair for us to kind of say he's good or bad.
Yeah.
And also.
Yeah. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it seems like this guy was a sort of a woke salaryman of his time kind of thing. When you look at how healthy he was in terms of the financial products that he had several financial products that were paying him annuities. And then on top of that, I think he also got something from the government.
Yeah.
Maybe as part of CPF or something like that, So the dude really was like quite okay one, but still choose to live in a HDB, not just HDB, but like one room kind of flat situation.
HDB rental flat.
A HDB rental flat. But also it got me thinking about like the idea of like people who are very asset cash or financially rich, right? But choose to stay in like very humble places. Like my ex-boss, who is the CEO of a medtech company, he lives in a HDB, and I visited his house. It's it's not a small place. It's not nice, but it's a very humble place. Like I would not expect somebody of what I assume his net worth to be, because I don't know also, to be living in some place as humble as this. And as a result, I also think like there's a degree of pride there that I can see myself having. I find that I've also visited people with very nice houses, and nothing against that also. And I'm also not for all this like, like how poor people, like they would pretend to be rich, and then the kind of, it happens on the opposite end where for rich people, the flex is you pretend to be poor.
You're like, oh my god, I took the bus today, so good.
Exactly. Then you post like ticket of my EasyLink card, like,
I'm having high fun today.
There is a way to bask in that kind of lifestyle also, where it becomes like, hey, you're just fucking flexing like you rich fuck, know?
There's this whole article the Atlantic wrote recently about the art of humble bragging. I can probably send you them, you can link it down.
Sure, we can talk about that in another podcast. It's worthy.
Just a bunch of people humble bragging.
But I feel like the way that I see my ex-boss doing it, I feel like there's a quiet pride in it where you don't talk about it much. It is what it is, and then you maybe spend and value different things. Like what I think my ex-boss, and I might be completely miscategorizing it, but what I see from it is that he and his family would spend more on experiences. Like they talk about like diving for crabs in Alaska, like, and I'm like, wow. Like it's not that he don't spend. He spend in a different way, and he spends a lot also in terms of time, right, on spending time with the family and the kids. And as a result, they are very well socialized kids, and they're very good kids. At least that's what I see, So
maybe when you left, you're like, oh, fuck you, Uncle Wei Chun.
Yeah, they're just like, this loser. But I don't think so. They're just really, you can tell from the core that they're really well socialized kids, So coming back to it, like if I think I was to become really, really cash rich, like to the point where like, I think like my enough point is at $1.2 million invested. I've been sticking to that still. If I get more than that, like say I got $5 to $10 million, I might not do much with it. Then what is the usage for that already? Like what is your enough point, or do you have one? Have you exceeded it? And if you did, what do you think? How do you think you would spend that life? Do you think you would be extravagant? Do you think you would be super frugal like this dude, or is there some place in the middle that you envision?
I think the type of wealthy person I would like to be is kind of like what your boss or ex-boss is.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have very strong values. So I lead my life based on these values instead of the wealth that I have. So I don't want to live life like, I'm a 5 million person, so I do this, ha ha ha. It's more like, what is important to me? Maybe experiences are important to me. Maybe traveling, knowledge, education.
Yeah.
And I will subsequently like invest in these things rather than try to live a life that isn't bound by values, because I feel like if there are no values, you can just like flail wildly and do funny things to
and you're looking for reference points everywhere because you are not a reference point. You're thinking about, what does Instagram think is cool, and then like, can I indulge in some of these things to find some reference point for myself to derive happiness?
And we have no reference point is very dangerous because nowadays got Instagram, right? Let's say I am a 5 millionaire. Then I go look, let's look at what the 10 millionaire people are doing.
Watches, cars.
Then like, oh my god, the 10 millionaire people are doing this. I can definitely do better than that. Then
But it's not coming from you actually wanting it. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice watches, your Audemars, whatever, or the Rolexes or whatever. I don't even want to pronounce these things, or Patek Philips and things like that.
Yes.
I also can appreciate on a very superficial level a nice watch. You see the movement of a Grand Seiko and how smooth the sweep is. I get it, but it's just not something that I liked. Like it reminds me of something you were saying yesterday. Something like it's a curse. What if you're just born with this passion for expensive things?
Yeah.
I just come out of the womb and I like watches and cars. Then I'm fucked because I need to be at least a multi-millionaire level to be able to enjoy the things I truly, truly enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's quite sad.
So imagine you come out of your mom's womb. Rolex. And then
Rolex.
yeah, and then turns out because it's such a competitive marketplace, globalization, blah blah, inequality.
You can't enjoy it.
You don't earn that much of a salary. Then you spend your whole life hankering after these expensive things that you will very unlikely have the chance to afford. Maybe you afford one.
Yeah.
Isn't that sort of like a curse?
I think it is because I always felt like I was cursed in terms of like what I fell in love with. I fell in love with animation, and animation is hard to earn money. So
I'm gonna say your wife. Shout out to Jia Hui.
Well, I'm not gonna say she's a curse, okay? So this is a different kind of love, okay?
Alright.
So the curse is like animation. That's my first. So it's harder to earn money in animation. Then second one was that I like cameras. Cameras are not cheap, but honestly, cameras, right? The mid-range ones are okay one, no? Like it's affordable-ish. 4-figure, you can get a pretty nice one. Don't need to go even up to like 5K range. You can get a very nice camera. But cars and watches are a completely different league in terms of the money that you need. It feels like curse, it's like playing The Sims. Then you just dice roll a perk, and then the perk says, you like watches. It means you get plus enjoyment from watches. But if you don't have a nice watch, right, you get minus 40 enjoyment constantly. Then there's a curse, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a curse. But of course, I think maybe the way we say it might not be the way it is, because I think what you like also is informed by the company that you keep. Your parents, for example. Maybe sometimes you go opposite from that. Like if you didn't like your parents, then you might do the opposite thing.
Yeah.
Like they like watches and you go fuck watches.
Yes.
Because my dad loves watches and I don't like my dad.
I'm gonna
fuck watches.
I'm gonna like sneakers instead.
I'm gonna like sneakers instead. And then that's a whole different thing where there's also quite a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe this uncle really got nothing to spend on. But I feel lucky that some of the things that we've chosen. I mean, you've chosen bikes. Bikes also, you are not even on the upper tier. I've not seen you spend in the upward of 10K on a bike. Even your titanium bike, you go OEM factory and make yourself one. You actually send the blueprints because you're trying to fucking save money. So it has served you well because even your vice doesn't take that much of a hit from you.
Yeah, I think you must really be careful with your vices.
Yeah.
Some vices will inherently cost more.
Yeah,
Let's just say the most expensive bicycle, at most 30K.
30K. Yeah.
Super top of the line bicycle.
This one for watch price is mid-range.
Yeah, or for a car price,
For a car, I don't even know what I can get.
It's like 1/3 of a Toyota Corolla. Maybe.
Yeah. So it's really I'm just glad that I don't have anything, but could be the company I keep.
Yeah.
And I'm just lucky that I think it's a chance thing because when I was in my formative years, teenager growing up, I didn't go to a very expensive school and stuff, so I never hung around with people who had this kind of lifestyle. And then now hearing stories about some of these kids who went to very prestigious schools like ACS, for example, then they say, my friend, his house is that big, and then he shows their watches and they were able. And then I think if you were around these people when you were in your formative years, it actually can make a mark on you that you want a lot of things. So going back to the original point, which was leading a certain life that you choose for yourself, right? And there's a quiet nobility, maybe not nobility, there's a quiet pride in knowing that this is what I like and I don't care about anything else. I'm not going to let anything else affect me. There's a stability in that doesn't even, it's not even coming from a spiteful place where I look down on people who like these things. I can appreciate it when my friends show me the watch. That's damn cool. The movement's so interesting. The thing at the back, the gear's so intricate.
Yeah, it's even though they created digital watches, this thing is just a work of beauty because it just works without any battery, without any power.
Yeah.
It just works.
I appreciate it. There's no spitefulness, but I go, I don't need it in my life, but I can look at it. Because I can also see people get very cynical about people with very extravagant lifestyle. This guy, he's a F-boy, he just flexing only. Not necessarily. Some people also just really like a watch and they just enjoy it as a hobby like we do everything else.
I think ultimately your choice of hobby has to somewhat match your ability to get the thing. If you like something a lot and you don't have the means to afford it, I think you are in for a very miserable life. I think you either lower what brings you joy or you earn more money. I think it's just like that.
Yeah. But I do think we have say in our hobby. We can say, okay, I'm considering 5 hobbies as my next thing for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
Let me list down the mid-tier spending for each of these.
I mean, look at this.
I'm going to choose kayaking, something like that.
I mean, look at me. Okay, so if I just use myself as example. Okay, so unrealistic hobbies Okay, you know what? My hobbies are personal jets.
Personal jet.
Space travel.
Okay. Space travel, yeah.
Sailing.
Sailing,
Then like maybe cycling,
Cycling.
And then
or paper planes.
no paper planes.
Paper plane enthusiast.
Maybe like
Yo-yoing.
skydiving.
Skydiving, okay, fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Then some of these are obviously out of reach for me, and even though I like them a lot, or I think they're very cool, I mean, you must have the ability to say like, oh, okay, I guess it's unrealistic. I can do this thing. I can dream, but I would not enter financial ruin to achieve these things.
Yeah. Like I was looking at some other hobbies, like for example, Rubik's Cube. So I was looking at what is the most expensive Rubik's Cube. It's about $70 to $100.
Oh.
That's it. That's the highest tier thing that you can get. Anything above that is ridiculous already. It'll be like, 25-sided Rubik's Cube, that kind of thing. Like functionally, they're pushing it so it costs more money.
Yeah.
But the 3x3 is like 3-digit, you can get the fucking nicest one.
Yeah.
Unless you put like fucking diamond studded or whatever, and they don't even have that.
That's
right?
being like extravagant already.
Yeah. So, or yo-yo. Very cheap one, Like less than $100, you can get a fucking good yo-yo.
So, best case scenario, right? You earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
You have very simple hobbies.
Yeah.
Equals high likelihood of happy life. Bad case scenario, or like the bear case for Wei Chun, right?
Yeah. The bear case,
Earn very little money.
Yeah.
Like really expensive
cars,
things. Then like make bad decisions to enter that, to chase these things. I think that will really affect your quality of life.
Yeah.
But back to the old man. Okay, I think it's impossible to say what hobbies you have or whatsoever, because
I think he just like go downstairs talk with his friends. I think he's that kind of uncle.
But okay, we finish the hobby first. I think the friend thing is different. Is a different topic.
Yeah.
But shit, I lost my train of thought. You suck. Okay, let me think.
No, you were saying about the uncle and hobbies. So
Yeah.
maybe are you gonna say that he had a very cheap hobby like mahjong or something? Or that he because
okay, I know already. Yeah, because at the end he only has $1 million. It's impossible to tell what he spent his money on also, because what we only know is that he had $1 million at the end. Maybe he had even more.
Okay, right.
Maybe he
Maybe he had 5 mil and then he spent 4 mil in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Who knows?
But another thing to consider also, okay, he's now 80, let's assume he don't have dementia, right?
Yeah.
If you want to take up cycling, right, he can buy the most expensive Brompton fucking comfortably. And then he's into cycling already.
Okay, but he's limited by his age already.
Yeah, okay, let's assume the age and physicality isn't a thing, but having that amount of money.
But it is a thing.
It is a thing, okay, it is a thing.
Time is a thing. Time is a very good resource.
Fair enough. Okay, he want to travel. He can travel. He can buy the most expensive tour package or somewhat expensive tour packages and travel in like wheelchair friendly kind of things. And he can afford some nice things as a result.
Yeah, of course.
He can change to expensive hobbies if he wants to now.
Yes, but the full range of experiences he has as an 80-year-old is limited compared to a 20-year-old or even a 50-year-old.
I mean, don't knock old people. So I've seen like uncles that cycle way faster than me on.
I mean, I'm merely acknowledging for the median member of society. Age does provide a limitation.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, what was his social life like, and what are the kind of people that surrounded him? Are they also similarly like actually all cash rich?
So
asset rich.
Right now you're suggesting that
I'm speculating, purely speculating.
You're saying that the situation might be that there are a bunch of millionaires living in HDB rental flats.
Possibly. I mean, we never know.
I prefer not to be reality. But okay.
I'm thinking more about along the lines of like you are the average of the 5 people around you or your 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they're like and whether they also, maybe they don't live in rental flats but they are old and they have high net worth, but they like simple things like fishing or something like that, In this way also, you don't just curate your hobbies, you can also curate the people around you. Although it sounds a bit manipulative to say like that, but I feel like it's a perfectly reasonable exercise to think about, like in terms of net worth and like social experiences, like what are the kind of people that I want to hang around in terms of like my financial situation also. Because it's also quite miserable to be around people who can spend a lot more than you can, and they like to spend a lot more than you can, and you can't ever keep up. Even though you like them as people, unless they're gonna sponsor you. Also, I wouldn't like to be sponsored by people. You just pay for me all the time. Also, I don't like that. So you also, I guess, have to curate like that, and also like, especially during your formative years, you might want to choose people who's like, the way that they see the world reflects the kind of person you want to be, so that you don't hang around people who say go and do something that, say I don't like clubbing, I think it's very expensive and wasteful, but nothing wrong with that. But like, I would not have hang around with. I went out with people like that a few times, and I went, it's not for me lah. Then I just start hanging out like that. You know, and in that way, I also sort of surrounded myself with people that kind of enforce the kind of person I want to be.
Yeah,
and as a result, like it helped me feel very okay,
I think that's fair. I mean, ultimately, you decide what kind of person you want to be.
But some people don't. I think some people just let it happen, and that is to their detriment also. I think like people need to also sometimes take more ownership of deciding what kind of person they want to be. And it might not be as difficult as people think. Like some people don't have direction, but like sometimes you just sit down and think and consider objectively, and that will help you a lot. Just that process of considering who you want to be. And I have a feeling this uncle did that and understood what he wanted in life very clearly.
One thing is also worth saying is that he did not appoint lasting
like
power
estate planning,
like a lasting power of attorney. So for people who...
what does that mean for common people like me who are stupid?
Lasting power... You're not stupid. Okay, for lasting power of attorney is like this set of powers that you grant someone to make decisions for you, financial decisions, in the event that you become mentally incapacitated. This man is.
Right.
So clearly, this man did not appoint a lasting power attorney.
Maybe he wanted it like that.
What?
This is his last act of chaos upon the world, that he want to have this news go out there and then cause confusion and chaos. He's actually an anarchist.
Okay. I mean, that is a possibility.
But even when you don't have direct family members, you can do this kind of thing, is it?
Yeah, let's say like you...
It's like writing a will, is it?
Yeah, let's say I can appoint you with lasting power attorney for me.
For your estate?
Yeah.
So that just means that in the event that you either die or are incapacitated mentally, I can help you to decide. Rin Ming will probably want this to go to his wife or his family.
Exactly.
But then you probably don't know, but like what happens then, like now that has happened? Like, is it just scattered to the wind? Does it go to taxpayers?
No, I think...
What happened to his money?
Now...
Because he's still alive.
Yes.
Right.
Now, if I'm not wrong, like the state will appoint like a person to take charge of the person's finances.
Right.
Yeah.
To try to talk to him, is it?
No. I mean...
Or just figure out?
I'm not sure of the exact process,
Okay.
the state will appoint someone to do it.
Right.
So it's not like the government will take your money when you die. It's nothing like that.
I think the maybe the point, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you're trying to say is also like, if you care about where your money goes and there's nobody, you have to also think about planning these things out, because sometimes also you don't know when these things will happen, that you become incapacitated.
Yeah.
Because we don't like to think about these things, right? Especially you get older.
I think there are several documents. One is obviously the most famous one is your will.
Will, yeah.
Will is like when you die.
It's like a written prose. Like, I want this, I want that.
Yeah.
This person gets this person gets that.
Yes.
Typically,
where your estate goes.
Yeah.
Right. Estate just means your wealth, lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there is a lasting power attorney. This is like a transition period in between your
like fucking agent, no.
What?
Agents. Sorry.
Like your state of incapacitation and death, like in between. So like, let's say you have dementia now, then like, what kind of care will you want?
Yes.
Who do you want to give money to?
Yeah.
What kind of nursing home you go to? Stuff like that is lasting power attorney.
Yeah.
I think there's one more. It's some letter that you give to the doctor.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name. Is that whether or not you're going to put you on life support or not on life support.
Okay.
Yeah. So that let's say you are brain dead tomorrow, then the medical bill is very high, right? Then you can tell people, oh hey, actually in this letter, Wei Chun said he did not want to be on life support.
So
just kill me.
But I kind of feel it like Like if it's me, like, well, I'm gonna die anyway, then fuck it, let people. I don't care. I sow some chaos before I go. I will tell nobody what happened. I can sort of see the appeal in there. So.
I see. Well,
don't take my advice. I mean, anyhow talk about.
My recommendation is you
listen to his one.
You don't do that because you see, right? You have more people that care about you. At least that I know of compared to this man, because no one came forward.
Well, I don't know lah. Yeah.
Okay, against speculation. Because because when you let's say you're brain dead or something. I mean your family will care about you. I will care about you. Your wife will care about you. So your decisions will cause like massive. The anarchy will cause like massive.
The ripple out lah, right?
Chaos in their lives. Maybe. Your family and your wife, they fight over who gonna get money.
And that's not nice.
What's Wei Shun last will?
That's true.
At least if you have a piece of paper, it's like, okay, he wanted this. He say one.
Then they won't fight because I say one. They will just hate me. They won't hate each other.
Yes, exactly.
I'd rather that actually.
So you deflect the thing. I mean, if you care about the people who you live after.
And I guess also it's like a little bit like if I've worked so hard to get like multiple $1 million or $1 million, right? That is in a way, that's my labor and slices of my life in terms of time and labor, right? I also don't want that to go to just random places. I would think like most people would want that to go somewhere that they like. Whether it's to themselves, like you spend to zero, or if I can't spend to zero, go to something that
a cause you believe in.
Because you have put so much work and like productivity in that you are rewarded so well. You should have that. Go to places where you want it to go.
So for example, like if I die on the roads tomorrow because a car hit me and I was cycling responsibly.
Or you want to set up like an anti-car
not
trust
anti-car.
fund.
I just want to do like I hope the money can be channeled towards like building safer infrastructure for cyclists in Singapore. So it's like
the Red Wing Foundation.
Doesn't it be called the Red Wing Foundation?
Anti-car Red Wing.
Doesn't it be called? No, doesn't it be called
RMACF?
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay,
doesn't
it be called like any of that? Okay, so let's say we love pangolins and animals. Some money can go to supporting this, and I think like that is just it's a superior way of living the world than chaos. Like I feel.
I feel like if you put so much effort and time into working and earning this money, you should have put some direction into the world to say nudge it this way that I like it to be. You earn that right, so might as well exercise it rather than have somebody do it for you, right?
Because I think if you have a lot of money but you also don't know where to spend it, I think it may be a symptom of like a purposeless life. I feel like it's important to have causes you believe in.
True.
Not to say our old friend don't have causes to believe in. Maybe he wanted to do, then he didn't get to do it in time.
So this kind of thing, do it when you're mentally sound, and maybe do it earlier than you think.
Actually, it's easy to do it. Sounds like a sponsor sell.
And there's no sponsor. I got no sponsor.
It's easy to do it using like, I think OCBC has a wheel writer.
There's no sponsor already.
Money Owl has a thing.
Okay.
Then there's the.
So they help you take care of that process lah.
The wheel writing.
Right. Because they know like what people would need in case this happens to expedite the process of things.
It's just an online form.
You can't just write yourself. Like I can't just put in a fucking Word doc and like I would like this to happen. They'll tell you, okay, don't write like that. You write this way, that way. Put in percentages or maybe objectify this part better. You know.
I think you could definitely write yourself if you're knowledgeable enough.
But I'm not.
But most people will.
They are like, I don't like this person, so don't give this guy. I like this one, so maybe give me a bit more. Maybe very subjective.
Maybe the lawyer like, oh, this is unusable.
I can't use it.
So just use the online template.
Right.
And it's not that exciting, like $99.
Or is it? A one-time fee, is it?
Yeah, one-time fee.
Okay.
I think it's $99. I'm not sure, but a couple of years ago.
But is it like ever too early to do it, you think? I think you should at least like wait until you kind of like have made some money, you understand like your financial potential in the world, then also you kind of understand lifestyle-wise where you want to be, and also have some indication of what kind of world you like to see, then you put this thing in place, you know?
I think there's never too early. Oh, sound like insurance agent.
Yeah, you don't do it when you're 20, man.
Okay, what? Because you can always write a new will.
I always can write again.
Yeah, it's not a...
It's not a one. You say when you're 20, then
let's say like
never touch again.
20, I say I give all my money. I give all my money to Wei Chun.
Yeah.
Then like suddenly I hate Wei Chun. Like, oh fuck, I give all my money to Wei Chun.
It's in the blockchain. I can't amend it. I can only append it.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like writing your will at an early age is more. It's something that more people should do. Then at least they consider.
Fair enough. Yeah.
mortality?
Right.
What's my meaning of life?
Actually, it can be responsible. We write our will, then we publish it. I wrote my will with this, and then this is it. Then I put the will there.
Sure.
But that might be too sensitive. You can't reveal too much about some of the family situation.
Depends. Depends.
Or no, people will whack us. They'll say, "Oh, how dare you give your parents so little?" This kind of thing.
I think that's a very likely person.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this thing?
No, I think that's it actually.
Okay, then we don't drag anymore.
Yes, let's end it. Bye everybody. Thanks for
Bye everyone.
checking it out.
This is the end.
Yes.
Yes, ended.